Hey guys, welcome back to my Alpha 16.4 playthrough. I'm doing day 5 today, and as you can see, it's just day 5, daylight's just broken. We went into the night with a little bit of supplies. I'd spent day 4 looting, hadn't found anything terribly great. And so I spent the night assigning my points. Was able to get weaponsmithing and toolsmithing up to level 3. So with that in mind, I went ahead and made new stone axe, a new wood axe, a new barbed club, and a new iron pickaxe. And I did find the hunting knife book yesterday, so I made a new hunting knife as well for harvesting animals. I've got a better iron shovel than what I can make. I got a pretty decent wrench, so I'm going to keep my best wrench on me right now. And I'm going to keep this iron fire axe. And a couple of things I wanted to touch on real quick that I maybe hadn't gone over in my videos yet. Number one, anytime that you're replacing or upgrading a weapon, never scrap it in your own screen. If you can, if you've got a forge, put it into the forge and you'll get your full amount back. So this barbed club right here cost me, I think barbed clubs are 16 forged iron, 160 iron to make, and when it finishes scrapping here in another 20 seconds, if I was running this thing, I would get 160 back. And that doesn't depend on the level. So I had, for example, a level 5 iron club that I had picked up at one point, and I kept it here. I threw that in there and got the full amount of iron for an iron club, which iron reinforced club costs 100 iron. So I got 100 iron out of scrapping that, and it only took like a minute and a half to scrap it. So all of those tools that I replaced, that pickaxe, that barbed club, I threw those in here and scrapped them, and basically didn't use any resources then to upgrade them because I got the full amount back. I'm going to take these forged iron with me in case I need to repair anything. I can hear I've got some zombies outside. I think I attracted them by running the forge all night long. Early in the game here, I'm not too worried about running the forge all night or the campsite all night. The hordes will mostly just kind of wander by if I attract one. I'm not generating a ton of heat yet. So the other thing, I ate a bunch of food, I put my points in, I upgraded all my weapons, I sorted out my inventory, dropped some stuff here in the chest. And today we're going to go out and I think we're going to do a little exploring. There's a bunker nearby that I was wanting to check out. And also maybe run out to the trader. And she just kind of wandered on in. That rotten meat can be used to make fertilizer later on in the game, but again, so I know I say this all the time, but this game really is about like game stages, which is also the term used for how it determines how many zombies you're going to get and how hard of zombies you're going to get. But it really is about game stages, and this early in the game, there's just I don't need to worry about fertilizer quite yet. Now, if you love farming and you want to start gathering up the fertilizer for farming, that's great. I'm certainly not going to fault you for that. I'm just going to grab a little wood while I'm thinking about it. And that reminds me of the other thing I was going to say is that, so one of the things I mentioned in the previous video is that I keep using the stone axe because I think it's faster and more efficient than the fire axe until I get some more points into mining tools and some of the other stamina recharging abilities. Another good reason to keep using the fire axe is that you've got several skills right here that unlock with your construction tools skill. So you can't buy the workbench skill until your construction tools are up to 15. It's right here. And you can't unlock concrete mixing until your construction tools are up to 10 and your mining tools are up to 20. So with that in mind, and I felt like there was another one that maybe was dependent on that, maybe not. I need to at least keep using a construction tool, in this case my stone axe, until my construction tools gets up to 15. I really don't want to put points into that. That's just burning your points because that's so easy to raise anyway. Yeah, I thought I saw her in the window. She's quiet. So I'm going to keep using my stone axe at least until my construction tools gets to 15 so that I don't have to put any points into that and I can unlock the building the workbench. In the early Alpha 16 days, you'd find a lot of workbenches like ready to use in places. And so I never worried much about building my own workbench. Now you don't find them as often. They kind of toned that down, and you can't just pick them up and move them anymore. I don't remember. We don't want to do the first plate here. The first plate's not going to get us anywhere. I think we want to do the second plate, if I remember right. So you know what? We're going to do the third one because I know the third one is going to let me get my whole head down into these stairs. I'm not sure if my mic is picking this up or not, but that purring noise that you hear is my cat deciding that she wants to be a part of the video. So she's got her head relatively close to the mic. So this is actually kind of good because this door has stages, multiple stages, and it's going to take forever to get through. So, and one thing, I'm out of stamina, so that's taking even longer than usual. But this, I'm going to let this zombie, I'm going to try not to hit him. Not that I would do a lot of damage with the pickaxe, but I'm going to let this zombie kind of help me break through this door by, they're going to do a little bit of damage with every hit. Now you can kind of see here that a single zombie beating on one of these steel reinforced doors it would take them a long time to break through it. Especially if it's upgraded to multiple levels. And that's, I think, one of the things that always throws people off is they come down here, they beat on this door for what seems like forever, finally get it down to 0 hit points, and lo and behold, the door is still standing. There it is. Goes right back up, so now we have another stage of door. I'm going to let my stamina recharge a little bit so I don't burn my entire... This would be a great place to have some coffee. I don't know if I ever stashed any coffee up in my base or not, but that sure would be nice. I want to say, I think this door is only 2 stages, so I think after we break through it this time we might, yeah, be able to get in. Different zombies seem to do different amounts of damage. The bigger zombies do more damage. We kind of got unlucky here. This one's just a little... I want to make sure I have plenty of stamina for fighting once this opens up. Really looks like you should be able to walk through that at this point, right? Well, I've been a little weird thing about 7 Days to Die. She did all that work just to get clubbed in the head. Okay, so I would imagine this place is going to have a few zombies in it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe they're all behind these doors. So I'm picking up the chairs. I'll scrap those for wood later. I'm gonna go ahead and open up all these doors and see if there's any zombies in these rooms. Yeah, there we go. He's a big guy. Couldn't get a headshot. Now, one thing I goofed up on when I came in here is that when you're doing something like this, you should always plug up the hole behind you if you're going to be below ground, because if a zombie walks over that hole, they could just fall right in here, and next thing you know, I got a zombie creeping up behind me. But if you put a wood frame here, they'll walk right over the top of it, and they can't attack downward to hurt that wood frame. That was just me forgetting, basically getting overly confident. Maybe I've done this so many times that I really wasn't too concerned about zombies following me in here, but I should be, because I could definitely have a random generated horde. Worse yet, that random generated horde could attract zombies, or could have dogs in it. Just gonna run over here. Sorry guys, I had to stop for a minute there to turn my furnace off. I got the house nice and warm before starting the video. I mentioned it in the last video that I sit right next to... Oh, there we go. Sniper rifle schematic. Be a while before I have the parts for that, but it's good to find it. I sit right next to the furnace, and I want to shoot the videos when it's not running because it makes kind of a lot of noise. So I warmed the house up a good deal and waited for it to go off, and figured I'd have at least an hour before it needed to come back on again, and instead I had about 10 minutes. So you can see these boxes are all just the random loot boxes. No guaranteed good stuff in any of these. Like, we got a horde going over the top, so maybe it's a good thing I went back and put that frame in the hole. Another thing I'll mention is that these cans here, you see me scrapping these because I don't want to take up room in my inventory with them. But if I'm back at my base, or if I'm near my base, or if I just have a lot of room in my inventory, if you scrap them, I think you get 3 scrap iron out of them. If you throw them in the forge, you actually get 5 scrap iron out of them. So, and that pretty much goes for everything in the game. Anything that you can scrap, you're going to get a little bit more out of it if you can put it in the forge instead. And these panels right here, if I was looking for electronic parts, they're a huge source of electronic parts. I could just break them down with a wrench and get a bunch of electronics. Another one of these. Now, it's pretty unusual for me to go until day 5. I'm going to leave my empty jars. I got empty jars coming out of my ears. Potatoes a good find though. Pretty unusual for me to go to day 5 without finding a mining helmet. Kind of hoping that one of these lockers here might have one. These shades, they do scrap for some iron, and that's why I scrap those. I don't really need any cloth anymore. I'm doing fine on cloth, so. Not sure what I'm wearing for boots. Yeah, those boots are slightly better. Paintbrush. Not looking to paint anything. A little early in the game for me to bother breaking into the gun safes. I don't think I've gotten any gun books that I can actually make a gun. I've got the sniper and the magnum, and I'm a long ways away from having the parts for either of those. Okay, so to get back out of here, we're gonna need a ladder. In fact, I think that we're gonna need two, but we're gonna try with one. Hey, there we go. So if I was living in there, I'd just put up a hatch right there, but I'm not living in there, so. And there might be some stuff in here. Trash bags aren't always worth looting. But early in the game here, it seems like I find a decent amount of books in trash bags. But, at least enough to make me think that if they're all in one area, I'm going to go ahead and loot them. These little trees are a great source of wood. I like to break those wherever I see them. The pipes really aren't anything special anymore. At this point I could just be scrapping those or just ignoring them. They're a perfectly good source for iron, so probably scrapping them. But I can make pipes pretty easily. I don't really need to save. Only the first two pipes for your forge are really what you need. After that, the only other things that use pipes, as far as I can remember, are kind of late game items like your mini bike. And I say late game I mean game stages. I don't really mean like that many days, because I've definitely had a mini bike in the first week if I got real lucky with my book drop. Okay. So there's still plenty of other things to loot around here, but they're all kind of boring. I mean, we've got the skyscrapers, of course. Those aren't boring at all, but those are also just chocked full of bad things. So I'm going to give them a wide berth right now until I get some sort of firearm. We did the firehouse yesterday, and we did the school yesterday. Don't really need these plastics yet, but I'm already carrying one, so I might as well keep it on me. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of head towards the trader. There's no rush to get to this trader. You see, I didn't even go back to the base to grab my tokens because I know for a fact I don't have enough tokens to buy anything from the trader, anything useful at least. So you need over 1,000 tokens before you're going to be able to buy anything useful. So I'm basically just running out there for something to do / see what else is in that direction. know my inventory is a little full and I don't have room to pick up a ton of stuff on the way, but probably won't matter. There's lots of good stuff over here in the snow area, and we might stop and loot some of it yet. I don't have room to carry those iron arrowheads, so I'm just going to scrap them. Of course, the last time I was over here I got infected and I got jumped. So this Zoe Salon in front of me here, this is actually a really good building to loot. You wouldn't think it, but that salon is chocked full of bookcases. Those are slightly better than the ones I've got. So I think I'm going to go ahead and break into that salon. If we don't have time to run to the trader, it's not a big deal. Like I said, I can't buy anything. I'd just simply be going there to cross the check off the quest list. Mailboxes almost always have paper in them. There's a tiny, tiny chance of finding a book in one though, so it's nice. There's a door that I don't have to break in. So you can see there's bookcases on either side there. The only bad thing about the salon is I find the layout to be really conducive to me getting jumped once I get towards the back of the salon. It seems like every time I'm in one of these things, I get a horde that comes walking in the front door when I'm stuck in the back and I don't have any escape route. But that could just be my bad luck. So my hunger's going down really quick, I noticed. I was at 100% when I walked out this morning. I didn't put another point into the survival skill where that keeps you from getting hungry. Maybe I should have, but right now I've got so much food yet, still from that hunting trip on the first day or the second day, I mean, that I just didn't feel like I needed it. But it's real obnoxious when you have to stop and eat. So duct tape is always worth picking up. I think I've mentioned that several times in the videos, but of all the things that are going to get scrapped and dropped out of my inventory, duct tape is rarely going to be one of them. Big Mama. Hey, one shot of Big Mamas. That's a good time right there. And there we go. I knew there was more bookcases in here. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Whole lot of nothing. They make the sleeper zombies growl in their sleep. Helps you get an idea for if you have one left somewhere or if there's one in the room you're entering. But unfortunately, Sometimes you hear the growling and it's coming from somewhere other than where the sound kind of sounds like it's coming from. Oh, okay, we're gonna go the other direction here. So that's a zombie cop, the green guy with the hat. And he is not somebody that we want to tangle with in a close quarters area. Likewise, I really don't want him to explode back there and destroy all my loot. And so what he does is he can spit, so he has a ranged attack unlike most zombies. It's not too terrible hard to dodge it, but it is something new and different. And when he gets enough damage, he's going to run at you and explode. And you have to do a certain amount of damage to kill him before he explodes if you want to be able to loot him. And at this point, I probably can't do that damage without a firearm. I doubt that I can hit him with enough arrows from the moment that he enrages to the moment that he gets to me and explodes. And if he explodes directly on me, he probably would kill me, because I still haven't bothered to really put on any armor, per se. That was something I meant to do over the night, and I just kind of... Armor's never a very high priority for me. It doesn't seem terribly effective. I'm glad I've got this stash of cans now, because I'm finding cans left and right, and that's gonna make me a lot of iron when I get home. So yeah, basically the cops... Now the cops do have a high chance of dropping good stuff. If you can drop one before it explodes. But again, I really wouldn't suggest tangling with one unless you have... unless you have a firearm, some sort of decent firearm at that. Ugh. This game hates me. Okay, so this is the wasteland. We've already seen the wasteland back on day 1, I think. There's a dog out there. At least one dog I can see. It's going to be chocked full of landmines that you can't see until you walk on them. You know what? Nah. Whoop. Speaking of, there's one of those fellas right now. And I almost backed up onto it because I thought I was still in the snow. So, even with all of my experience at this, I just do not want to bother with that. There's the risk versus reward is not worth it. It's too many dogs, too many landmines. The landmines more than anything. The dogs, you know, if you're watching, you're paying close attention. I don't think I brought my coat with me. I didn't bring my coat with me. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's go see if we can get out of the snow. Not everything good is here in the snow. Check real quick. Looks like I just need to go this way because the snow kind of keeps going the other direction. I gotta be careful, that cop may still be wandering around over here. If you're looking for food, this diner is a good choice for looting. The motel's got a little bit of everything, but not really anything special to it. Oh boy, that's actually a good find. So, We got the Magnum book earlier, and I said it's really hard to find all the Magnum parts to build one. So I really don't want to pass up a Magnum part when I actually do find one. And you can see here that the game realizes that my inventory is full, and that's why it keeps putting deer in front of me and taunting me. Take that football helmet. I can't remember how good the one is that I've actually got in my box back home. And then I'm just gonna eat that, and we're gonna take the cowboy hat off so we don't get cold. I end up wearing the cowboy hat like 99% of the game, just because every other biome except for the snow biome you're gonna get hot, and so sometimes I forget that I have it on. Well, one place is about as good as the next at this point. Probably one or two bookcases in each of these buildings. We've got a little bit of time left before dark, or before I want to go and gather up some resources. The pills used to be super good in older alphas. Basically just free health. Now they cost you so much thirst that I only use them if I'm in dire straits. But it doesn't stop me from stockpiling them like a madman. It's an old habit. I mean, if you're going to carry one, you might as well carry 100. Takes up the same amount of room in your inventory either way. That shopping basket when I build a mini bike. Oh. Well, this is enough that I actually would like to carry those. I won't bother making room in my inventory for one or two, but there's that beer that would have helped when I was breaking down that door. So the shopping basket, yeah, that's when you build a mini bike, you'll want to come back I'll come back here probably if I'm still around this town, pick up that shopping basket and put it on the mini bike. That allows you to increase the mini bike storage, or add mini bike storage, which is really where the mini bike is the best thing in the game. Because it not only allows you to get around faster, but when you're riding it, you have all these extra storage slots. I would say past my second base, leaving and going anywhere without a mini bike gets to be incredibly cumbersome, just because I can't carry all the good stuff that I've got, and so I have to make at least 2 trips wherever I'm going. far I'm getting kind of unlucky on what I'm finding for schematics. It's mostly armor. There's always a bunch of guys up here. I like to clear the roof out before I start really looting the downstairs. Because I've just had it happen once too many times where zombie wakes up on the roof, doesn't make any noise, happens to fall down one of these holes right on my head. And going up the ladder makes you uncrouch. There's no way to sneak up here is why we didn't. You just have to commit to fighting. So a building like this is actually, if I had seen this building before I set up my base, this is probably the building I would have set up in. There's a lot of nice things that first it's brick, so it's a little sturdier than most. I probably would have set up in the second floor, but the rooftop is another good option. You can set up on the rooftop. As you see, it's got the overhangs most of the way around, or at least they're in the front. But you can set up on the rooftop just by knocking out that bottom rung of that metal ladder right there. So, or for that matter, you wouldn't even have to knock out the bottom rung of the ladder. You could just put a hatch on the top, and that's going to generally work just as well. Or you do both and really be secure. But there's a lot of space. Boy, I'd like to take that with me. Let's see. Short iron pipes, remember what I was saying? They aren't that useful anymore. I can make them. So. Yeah, there's plenty of space. It's pretty easy to defend. You do have to plug these holes in the wall, or you don't have to, I guess. There's only the climbing zombies can get into them, but I recommend plugging the holes in the wall. There's probably some sort of safe in here, and this is probably a waste of time breaking in here, but on the off chance that there's just like a regular box, we'll go ahead and break in. Plus, if there's a sleeper zombie in there and I walk away from here, then all the sleeper zombies will respawn because I didn't kill every single sleeper. And there was a zombie in here. I hate it when they fall where you can't hit their heads. Called it safe, but also a box. If I had set my base up in there, I would probably have actually done the horde here. I'd either build a platform off the side of the building and then fill this bottom part with spikes, or more likely for a 7-day one, I would just dig out the floor between these pillars right here, fill that with spikes, upgrade them as far as I could, and then knock out a couple of the roof blocks above it and put in arrow slits, or if I have the iron bars, so that I can shoot down on the zombies while they walk across the spikes. Something similar to that is exactly what I'm going to do for my 7-day horde. I just haven't decided where that's going to happen yet. Look, somebody up in here. Hey there, buddy. You can shoot through the wooden frames. Don't ever forget that. There are a bunch of them in that garage. Kind of glad I didn't go in through the garage. I really hope that at some point in the future they reduce the number of locked doors or make it random. Reduce it and make it random. Put a flag on these doors so that it says that when the world spawns in, it's a random chance to be locked, and it's less of a chance to be locked than unlocked, because boy, it's, I guess, playing through 4 different alphas, it's just gotten me to the point where I get sick of having to break something to go into each and every single room. I think that they've said that they're going to try to add lockpicking, and that would be kind of cool, I think, depending on how they do it. Again, I really don't want to have to... a book I already have. I really don't want to have to stop and pick a lock at every single doorway, so... that in and of itself may not make things a lot better. I did that thing I do where I run out of arrows. I'm not good at watching my arrow count. So unfortunately, since the trader was in the wasteland and I still haven't found a treasure map, day 5 is turning out to be an awful lot like days 3 and 4. I knew that these days would be boring, and that's kind of... that's why I've always... I mean, I've done a couple of different guides for a couple of different alphas, and I've always just done day 1 and always get a lot of requests for the rest of the week, but I just knew that the rest of the week is pretty boring up until day 7. And a lot of times I don't continue to play the game that I started for the video. And so this time around I actually felt like continuing to play on this seed, on this game. So I figured, well, if I'm playing anyway, I may as well record it, put it up there. And if 10 people find it interesting, then great. And if nobody finds it interesting, then that's okay too. One more bookcase. AK. It's a weird game. I'm getting all of the late game books. Oof, that's a good chunk of paint. Paint is purely cosmetic. It has no practical use or value in the game. But it's something that was new in this alpha, and I kind of find it fun. And paintbrushes are super easy to make, so I don't ever bother grabbing a paintbrush or carrying around a paintbrush. But paint, on the other hand, is kind of expensive to make as far as time and resources. So I will make room for paint in my inventory because I might want to play with it later. Alright, so it's 1950. We've got just a little bit of time before dark. I'm going to go ahead and start heading back to my home because I am a long ways away from it. I know that I'm not going to be able to make any higher level tools tonight because I just did it last night and I know I didn't make the levels necessary to be able to level those up again. It's nice to find a duffel bag. So with that in mind, since I'm not going to be able to make any higher level tools, I'm not too worried about getting a lot more resources. I picked up enough wood earlier to keep me going through the night. The only thing... I got plenty of feathers. The only thing I might be short on is rock. Yeah. Running a little short on the small stones. I've been trying to pick them up when I walk by them. But that's kind of inefficient compared to just breaking a resource rock. You get way more of them way faster that way. But 60 rocks is probably enough to at least get me through the night, make whatever arrows I want to start out the day with tomorrow. Eat that. Although this canned food doesn't do much for your wellness, so it's not the best things, but on the other hand, you gain wellness fast enough and easy enough in this game that I don't worry too much about it. I'm not going to go looking for canned food if I can make, or if I can hunt, or if I can make food of my own, but on the other hand, if I come across canned food, I sure am going to go ahead and eat it. These guys are like the hardest to hit. They're twitchy heads. Alright. Well, we made it back again. Got a lot of things. 32, 135, yeah. Really wasn't worth grabbing that, but whatever. You never know. I didn't find so much good stuff that I didn't have room for it, so... Okay. I know I've done this the last 2 nights, and I'm going to do it again tonight. I'm going to run out. Just real quick, see if I can find a resource rock to break. To get a little bit of iron and a little bit of stone. So one thing to note is that you see how there are more zombies around right now than there were before. That's because zombie respawns out in the wild, I believe, are set to 5 days. And I showed up here on day 1, killed a bunch of zombies in this area and claim this base as my own, and at some point during the day today it has now been 5 days since I killed them, and so we're starting to see the random zombies respawning here. So in the morning I'll probably make a quick circle around the house and just clear out all of the zombies around here for another 5 days. Zombies in the house won't respawn because I've got my bedroll here. So that keeps the zombies from spawning in the house or around, I think it's 7 blocks in any direction of this bedroll, something along those lines. Oop, I can keep that on me. Alright guys, if you watched this video all the way through, thanks for watching. Sorry I didn't find any spectacular loot today. But I'll probably come back and do day 6 shortly. And then it'll be time for the exciting one, which is day 7. So, thanks for watching.